Alright. So this is the last thing that's on the list. I'm just going to guess that maybe this thing had paintwork at one time as to why this lower door molding is off of here. It looks like it was actually replaced at one time. So basically I'm just going to clean it up. I'm just using a little bit of glass cleaner to get this clean right here, this area, kind of remove the dirt. So it's one less thing I got to deal with when I'm trying to remove this tape. Okay. Alright. I got that. Same thing here. I'm just gonna wipe this off. Just kind of clean it up a little bit. Not quite sure what the reasoning was for this, like I said, but that's all we need to do. Now, this seems to work the best. This is the 3M. This is adhesive remover. So, what I like to do, this seems to work best in a cool area, not in sun. So it's best not to try to do this outside if you're removing any of this tape, body molding or whatever. And you know what I mean. You can see it's wanting to come off of there. I could pick at this with my thumbs more if I wanted to, but the whole idea is to try to save some time and you know, get this stuff off here. So I'm going to give this a douse with this to try to work on breaking it up for a little bit, and then I'll spray it a little bit and I'll work at it a little bit at a time. It just seems to work out better that way. Alright, I'm going to get a plastic scraper, which seems to work out really well. So, I have this plastic scraper. Now, if you go by the instructions, it just basically says, you know, spray it on a clean surface, apply to the point where it starts to run off, allow a few seconds for the remover to penetrate, and work as soon as we keep dry. Contaminants wet for several minutes by repeated applications of remover. While surface is wet, wipe clean with a cloth. Pressing hard on surfaces may. So basically, spray this on, work at it easy. This plastic stuff usually, you know, this usually works out pretty good. Keeps it from scratching the paint if you use a plastic scraper like this. It's kind of hard to see down here at the bottom where I actually just decided to start. So let's move up here a little bit. Try to get one at the top. Make sure we get it good and wet. Give it a couple seconds. All right. Okay, so that was basically like the thicker part of it, alright? Came off the first time around. Which should actually, you know, that should work out pretty easy. It should come off easy because that's the top part of the tape. You can see back here, it's actually, because it's not wet, I'm actually having to work at that a little bit harder, alright? So let's take and get this wet again. Give it a couple seconds. All right. We now got another layer off. Okay. This stuff gets really sticky and gooey too. I'm hoping that there's enough light where you can see what's in here yet. Let's try to see if it's maybe a little bit closer, might work. All right, now you can see it wanting to pick up here. Okay, so that right there, that's the end of it. All right, So that's pretty much it. So we'll take this, give it one good spray with that, give it a second to break it up, and then just wipe. You know, you can go at that to the point where there's absolutely nothing left, and you can't even tell that there was a the two-faced tape was in there. Now, when you work on this molding here, this is a little different. This actually shouldn't be this wide a tape. This usually only comes to about here, and then has tape on this top side. The bottom is typically about the same. Like I said, this was reinstalled. It just wasn't installed correctly. So, or I don't know, how would you say that? Properly, to the best of the ability that you could actually get one of these to install. So I'm going to, just like I did on that. I mean, it's kind of the next day. Basically, I got the whole door here pretty much cleaned down. I just got to give it one more spray and then a wipe down. I did actually, this had a crack in it here. I'm not quite sure what happened at one time. But we got everything pretty much cleaned down here on the filler panel we got on here. So, like I said, basically I just got to hit this one more time. I'm going to grab a cloth rag. Seems to work a lot better than a paper towel would, similar to this. Alright, and then I'm going to break out the two-faced tape, which I have, I think it's just laying over here to my right somewhere. I got it out actually last night in the middle of doing some stuff. So once this is done, this is going to pretty much finish up this little task of stuff that I had for the car. And then we're going to move on to the next stuff. So let's get this thing installed. Like I said, I'm just using the 3M adhesive stuff. We're just going to, give it one last good soaking. Let it soak for a couple seconds or so. Basically, you don't want this stuff to dry. And then just give this a good wipe on the door. It pretty much takes everything right off. Right here. Right. Good to go there. I'm going to wipe this down. I'm going to grab the tape. Alright, well somehow it ended up getting bumped onto time-lapse, but I'm going to put that in there. Probably won't have no audio, but hopefully you can see enough. Basically, I applied the tape. I had everything cleaned up. I lined it up where I wanted to, held it in place, and then pulled it off. So, with that being said, we got our brakes on. We replaced the sway bar that was improperly installed, so that should really help with handling. We did get the rear one installed correctly. We are still looking at getting some new end links. There is some more stuff that needs to be done to this car, but that's going to be for another video. And hopefully this was something worth watching, guys. I really hate saying it, but we need likes, we need comments, and we need people to subscribe. Thanks.